What's up everybody, Jack Farr here on behalf of Box to Box Football. I'm actually going to be starting a new kind of series after every game week in European football. I'm going to start doing power rankings. It's going to be a top 20 teams doing a power rankings video. What I'll do, if everybody wants to kind of skip my explanation, which I really don't blame you, I'm going to put the time magically up here. If you skip to this part of the video, you'll be able to get straight into the list. But for those interested in how I'm doing the list, I will start now. Basically, what I'm going to be looking at is teams, their current form, the way they're playing, and how they rank up against one another. That is not to say that a team I may have over another team I wouldn't pick in a head-to-head football match, but it's just how they're playing at the moment. Just as an example, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United, Arsenal, Inter Milan, these kinds of teams, they haven't made my list because they've not really been playing that well. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get into the list. So what I'm going to do is basically just give you a bunch of the teams and then just pick out a couple of the teams that I think are worth making some remarks about, some sort of comments about. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be some disputes here, like there is with any opinionated base list. Obviously, please let me know down in the comments which you agree with, which you disagree with, and, let me have it if you think I'm crazy. First of all, 20 through 16, you've got Sassuolo, Marseille, Napoli, Manchester City, and Villarreal. Nothing really to note here with any of these teams. Man City, obviously always going to be a threat and always look pretty solid, but have suffered with injuries at the moment, not playing quite to the level I think we expect. Sassuolo flying very high in Serie A at the moment. I do think, they're pretenders to a certain extent. I don't expect them to stay there, but you have to give them credit for the position that they are in. Marseille, doing well, I think better than expected in Ligue 1. Napoli, very hit and miss, but I think there's the beginnings of something there with Gattuso's team. And Villarreal as well, certainly outperforming some better teams than them in La Liga. 15 through 11, we have Vitesse Arnhem. 15, I'll get onto them in a second. Bayer Leverkusen at 14. At 13, the reigning Premier League champions Liverpool. 12, Frank Lampard's Chelsea. And 11, RB Leipzig. So Vitesse Arnhem, I'm sure, is going to be the one that people are going, what, who? I may not have even heard of them. They've won their last 5 games on the bounce in the Eredivisie. One of those games was a 2-1 victory against PSV Eindhoven, which I'm sure you've heard of out of those two Dutch teams that everyone seems to comment on. Now, I don't obviously expect a domestic title from Vitesse Arnhem. I think historically some of the viewers may know that that's basically just kind of a breeding ground for Chelsea loan players. But I don't think that winning 5 games on the bounce can go without any sort of comment. If a team like Barcelona or Real Madrid did that, they'd probably be a top 3, top 5 on this list. Just because it's Vitesse Arnhem, just because it's in a lower league, they are a little lower on this list than maybe they would be if it was a different team. But regardless, still very impressive what they've managed to achieve. Bayer Leverkusen going very, very strong as well. Obviously losing the likes of Kai Havertz in the transfer window, but still playing at a very high level. Liverpool, on any other day, a fully fit Liverpool team would be 1, 2 or 3 on this list. Absolutely destroyed by injuries. So I think you've just got to say that they are going to be lower in this list. I don't expect them to win as many games. Some wins may become draws may become losses. Purely the injury bug with the excess of football we're playing at the moment. Frank Lampard's Chelsea, everything looks really, really positive going forward. I can't give them too much credit just yet, but they still earn their place on this list. Leipzig, very similar to Leverkusen, playing well, very, very well, but just not for me as comparable as some of the other teams on this list. 10 through to 6, we have Roma at 10. 9, we have Borussia Dortmund. 8, high-flying Southampton. 7, Atletico Madrid. And 6, Leicester City. Now, Roma, obviously, I'm sure people think that I'm being biased here, and maybe I am. But one, I will tell you, in a sporting sense, Roma are undefeated this season. There is one loss in the loss column for them, a 3-0 loss to Verona. but that game was actually a draw. The only reason it became an automatic default 3-0 loss is because Amadou Diawara played in the game and was not registered, which is a horrible administrative error from AS Roma and the team there. If we put that to one side and actually count the draw, Roma would be second in the Serie A table. They'd be undefeated in 7 or 8 games. They've played Juventus, they've played Milan, draws in both those games, very crucial games. Paulo Fonseca is playing a fantastic 3 at the back with some very, very mobile centre-backs. Roger Ibanez has looked fantastic. Spinazzola is becoming more and more influential down that left-hand side. Henrik Mkhitaryan's been a great signing. Pedro's been a great signing. Borja Mayoral looks good. Veretu's playing well. Pellegrini's playing well. Paulo Fonseca really seems to have figured out how this Roma team can play. I actually have hope for Roma to finish in top 4 in Serie A this year. The reason why they're at 10th in this list, apart from kind of an administrative error, Roma would be undefeated this season and second in the Serie A table. I know some of you may think I'm biased, but anyway, moving on. In at 9, we have Borussia Dortmund going really strong in the Bundesliga. Obviously, we don't expect them to win the Bundesliga this year, but still a force to be reckoned with. 8, Southampton. Have to talk about Southampton. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. That one of 6 games that they haven't won was a 3-3 draw with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Ralph Hasenhüttl really has this team playing very, very well within the style that he wants them to play. They're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. 4th in the Premier League table at the moment. You've got to be scared of the likes of James Ward-Prowse, Danny Ings, and just across the whole team. There's a real, that is the best word. It's a team spirit here. A similar feel actually to the way that Liverpool play, and it's no shock that a Jurgen Klopp, Ralph Hasenhüttl type manager, they're very similar in many, many ways. Number 7, Atletico Madrid, playing solid, playing pretty well. I would expect them to obviously be somewhat challenging for La Liga this year. Not playing to the best of their abilities, but playing well enough to justify their spot in 7th here. And 6, Leicester City. They don't have my full confidence yet. I still think there are a few things to work on for this Leicester City team, but their position in the Premier League table, need we really say any more? Okay, moving on to the top 5. I'm sure this is what everybody has been looking out for. At 5, we have Paris Saint-Germain. 4, Milan. 3, Tottenham Hotspur. 2, Real Sociedad. And 1, Bayern Munich. So, PSG, I'm sure some of you may only be aware of the headlines from several weeks ago. PSG started the Liga season with 2 losses on the bounce to inferior teams. Amiens, I think, was one, and I can't remember the other one. So 2 losses with PSG had them near rock bottom of the Ligue 1. Since then, they've won 8 games on the bounce. It's 26 goals for, 3 goals against. Really does kind of say it all. PSG have turned around this kind of shoddy start to the season. I am still of the opinion that Liga should be compared closer to a league like the Eredivisie than a league like the Premier League or La Liga. The whole Farmers League opinion I do kind of have. There's just not the competition for PSG, which I think is why we see them more often than not do as well as expected in the Champions League. But it's tough for Thomas Tuchel. He's under pressure from the Leandro, the sporting director, and from the fans. Mbappe would like to leave this summer. Neymar, God knows what's going to happen with Neymar, whether he'll sign a new deal or not. But I think regardless, 26 goals, 3 against, 8 wins on the bounce. You've got to say that PSG are worth their spot here at 5th in the power rankings. Number 4, Milan, top of Serie A. Playing very, very well. Some hard-fought contests so far. Zlatan, I know the classic thing of the fine wine, still an absolute threat. Got some seriously good young players. And I think that spell of AC Milan, signing a bunch of players who, maybe they'll be good, maybe they won't be, and just throwing it in, that's kind of changed. They really do seem to be signing some players now which have the basis and the structure of a team. I really like Rafael Leao. Big fan of Ismail Benacer. I've obviously already mentioned about Zlatan. Romagnoli, I'm a huge Donnarumma fan as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens with his contract. But yeah, Milan, top of Serie A. Spurs in at 3. Jose Mourinho proving that to some of the doubters, and I'm one of them, that this Tottenham team is still playing very, very well. He seems to have gotten rid of some of the players he didn't want, brought in some players of kind of like-minded to the way that he wants to play. Harry Kane kind of assuming a slightly different role, getting many more assists than I think you would expect that he usually would. You usually expect him to be a goal scorer than an assist creator, but Spurs playing well. 2, high-flying Real Sociedad, killing it in La Liga at the moment. This is the one team I expect, obviously, a huge drop-off in future weeks, but I think they really deserve their spot here. They've played very, very well, and the table speaks for itself. In at number 1, yes, guys, you'll be shocked and devastated to hear it's Bayern Munich. This is the best team in the world. It's not close. They have been now for 6 months or so, maybe longer, and I fully expect that to actually continue. Apart from the 4-1 Hoffenheim game in the Bundesliga, which did catch everybody off guard, they're exactly where they should be. They will win the Bundesliga this year. I would expect them to win the Champions League again as well this year. This is the most complete team. They've got depth, a manager who really gets the culture and knows what he's doing. New faces coming in to challenge for positions. We've got Manuel Neuer playing back at his best. Obviously, couple concerns with David Alaba potentially leaving and some of these other great players potentially moving on. Lewandowski is the best number 9 in the world. I expect Bayern Munich to stay here potentially for the rest of the season. This might be my only time talking about Bayern Munich at number 1 because I don't expect them to go down and they can't go any higher. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of this list. Like I said, I can already hear the Arsenal, Manchester United, Inter Milan, Barcelona, Real Madrid fans all coming at me immediately saying, where's my team on this list? You've got Sassuolo in there, Villarreal in there, you've got Vitesse Arnhem in there. Where's my team? Your team's not playing well enough to justify being in this spot. If your team wins 5 games on the bounce, including beating a top rival in PSV Eindhoven, you can come talk to me. But for right now, some of these teams deserve their spot in this list. Please like, share and subscribe. I think James, ran the numbers recently. A number of you aren't subscribed. It would really mean a lot to us if you subscribed. Trying to get to hopefully 200 subscribers by the end of the year. Be able to bring you more content and also content that you'd like to see. We want to hear from you. But yes, please like, share and subscribe, and we will see you next time.